Okay, this is a 2008 Chateau Ste. Michelle Columbia Valley Cabernet from Washington State that goes for about $16. So a little recap on this wine.
Yep.
It's got some dark berries, very silky finish, really smooth bottle of wine.
Yeah. I actually, this is one of the wines of the four we had tried that I really liked. It's the middle of the road of the wines, but it had a nice silky start. It had some nice flavor, not too much alcohol in the back of the throat, and overall I thought it was a decent wine to have, around the house or take to a party. I recommend it. It's a good one.
I have to say, in going through 4 Cabernet Sauvignons from Washington State, I think Chateau Ste. Michelle really stood out as far as the quality of the wine. This one in particular, their Columbia Valley Cabernet was very good. It was real smooth. It was easy drinking. It wasn't too heavy on the oak. It wasn't too heavy on the berry. It was well balanced. It had a little bit of tannin to it. Had a little bit of structure to it.
Yeah. It did have some structure to it. It did finish kind of strong.
Yeah.
I mean, with depth.
I didn't. It wasn't my favorite of the wines.
No.
I think I could say that the Indian Wells that we'll talk about in a second was
Agreed.
was a little bit better of a variety. I don't know. I'm not sure if everybody agrees, but for me it was.
I actually, for this instance, I agree with you.
But I would say that this is a nice bottle for 16. What did you say? $16?
$16.
For $16, I think you could not go wrong bringing this to a friend's house. I did remember tasting a little bit of like chalkiness, a little bit of dryness on this that was not my favorite quality of it, but I think finished the wine pretty well.
This out of the 4 was my favorite. You can check out the other three wines in this Washington State series. This was my favorite.
Yeah.
It wasn't very tanniny, so it didn't really have much of a bite around your mouth, which I like. It was smooth. It really finished kind of silky. A lot of the fruit and a lot of the dark berry flavors were in the front of the mouth when you first tasted the wine, and when you swallowed it, it finished with some body, but not an aftertaste. So I like this wine a lot. This is a 2009 Chateau Ste. Michelle Cabernet from Indian Wells from the state of Washington. Retails for about $20. This wine I thought was a lot of tannins, a real full-bodied wine. You really felt it in the mouth. It was kind of a strong wine with a lot of depth, a lot of flavor. It has some Syrah blend, so it gives it a really nice, deep, rich color to it. I like this wine. Not my favorite out of the all wines I tasted from Washington State, but I liked it a lot.
My feeling about this was it was the most complex out of the 4 cabs that we had tonight. I thought it was not as silky as the other, but it had a little more alcohol in the back.
The other Chateau Ste. Michelle.
The other Chateau Ste. Michelle. It had a little more alcohol feeling in the back, not as upfront silky. It was very complex in its flavors. It had a lot of fruit, a lot of berry to me. Definitely one I would try, but for the price, I might go down to the other Ste. Michelle. So I liked it. It wasn't overall my favorite.
I'll say this, for Washington State Cabernet, I thought this was fantastic, head and shoulders above the other ones.
There we go.
I enjoyed this a lot. I thought it was really well structured. I thought it was really well balanced. I felt like it had full body wine, what I would expect from a good quality Cabernet. Not just complex in the flavors, but just full bodied. It gave me a nice mouthy feel without being overly dry, overly chalky, overly anything. Well balanced and not too oaky and berryness. Really elegant to drink and smooth. I think Chateau Ste. Michelle did a really nice job with this wine.
They did, and I think the reason maybe me and Craig don't like it as much as you is not so much as it's the quality of the wine is lacking, because it's not. I think maybe it's just not our cup of tea. When it comes to
we all have our different.
It's a cup of wine.
Yeah, it's a cup of wine, but you know what I'm saying. All right. We have a 2009 Columbia Crest Grand Estate Cabernet Sauvignon from Washington State, which goes for about $13. So kind of out of the series of Washington State Cabernets, this falls in the lower end of the price point. And as such, it wasn't, and I think in our opinion, is one of the highest quality wines. It was kind of a good house wine, a good table wine.
No, it wasn't.
No, you don't think so?
It was definitely one that, while it's a wine, it was one that I would pass in the aisle, as I said in the full episode. But to me, it just didn't have the complexities. It didn't have. It was a little too alcoholic in the back of the throat. It didn't have all the flavors that you sort of want in a wine that you'll get on a regular basis.
But you didn't dislike it. You said you thought you were disappointed with it, but you didn't say it was a bad wine. You just didn't like it.
Take it as it is. It's not my favorite. It's a wine.
You know, I think we tasted this after the Chateau Saint Michel,
Which also does its own injustice.
Indian Wells, which might have brought it down a little bit.
Yeah.
I think in that sense, though, I understand what you're saying. It's nothing that's going to surprise you. It's a Cabernet. It's there. It's not overly bold. It's not overly flavorful. It's an easy drinking wine. It's comfortable.
It's all right.
I don't think anybody would pass the glass away in embarrassment or
But
so.
you also might not buy another bottle.
Pass the glass away in embarrassment. that is a.
That's
it's
a true sign of a fantastic wine.
It's not that. It's a decent bottle of wine. I think. What did you say it was? $12 or $13?
Yeah.
For
For
$13,
$12
I mean,
or $13, it's not a bad bottle of wine.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could do.
You could do better.
You could find others at that price range.
Yeah.
But it was drinkable. It was drinkable.
So a glowing review for the 2009 Columbia Crest Grand Estates. All right. Here we have a 2009 Red Diamond Cabernet from Washington State. Mr. Handelman, what did you think about this bottle of wine?
This one, well, it's an affordable wine to start with. It's not the top of the line.
$11.
$11. This one actually is one that it's not very complex. I thought it was it had a good flavor. It's a good, easy drinking wine. I wouldn't mind having it at the house. A couple bottles at the house sitting around just to drink once in a while. It's not something that you would be overly excited about.
So like when I came over, you'd open a bottle of this?
If it was already
No,
open,
because you're more of a
sure it's
snobby wine drinker. So this is something Jared and I would drink, but you may one of the other ones. So,
That was mine.
but this in general, I thought it was decent wine for the price. It was definitely something I would drink again.
I will say it's a snazzy little label, but in comparison to the Cabernet Sauvignon wines that we've drank from Washington State,
Half the price.
well, that's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
I thought this was a decent wine. I
I-
enjoyed the glass of
We
wine.
we agree to agree.
Yeah, I would. If I went to a friend's house and they brought this wine out and poured me a glass, I would enjoy it. Is it the richest experience you've had? Is it the most luxurious? Does it have the smoothness? Does it have a full body? Not necessarily so, but it has the components that makes it probably what they call restaurant wine, right? I've
Yeah.
seen this bottle in
Very-
a lot of restaurants. It's economically priced. It's easy drinking. It's got smooth notes to it. It's not
But-
too heavy on the alcohol.
Yeah.
Not too heavy on the tannins.
Yep.
Yep.
Not too fruity, but enough to please I think most palates.
Right, but it's one of
overall-
those wines that if you're going in for a nice bottle of wine to the wine store, on your way to the register, you grab one just to have it in the house.
Good analysis.
It's not something you'd go in for, but it's something
for-
you'd take home.
For $11, you keep a couple bottles in the house and be proud of that.
See, I like this wine. It was okay, but what I learned tonight and what I learned this month tasting all these Cabernets from Washington is that now I can say for $11 I can have this, or for $13 I can have the Columbia Crest Grand Estates wine.
Right.
For the $2 extra, I'll go for that one because I've tasted two Cabernets from the
Yeah.
same part of the world, and I like that over this.
Sure.
And I think that's kind of the point of
I-
one to look at the other. I like this one, but now I know of a different wine that's kind of the same price I like better. I
Well, that's
wouldn't
sort of
pick
what we're
this
trying to do in this show is sort of give you our thoughts about certain wines from a certain region, and when you go into a wine store, there's certain you get very uncomfortable with so much variety. We'll give you a little bit of advice on some of the things that we found in these, the price points, and some of the flavor tastes associated with them. So take it for what it is. Our opinions.